Hi everyone. So last time we talked, I was sharing some tips about how to get through social situations, social gatherings where you have a food table to work around. And if you want to check out part one, you can go down below and click and catch up there. Today I'm sharing 4 more tips, a bonus tip, and also a quick recipe. So we've got lots to cover. And this is coming at a really perfect time of year. It's just at the beginning of the holiday season. We've got Halloween and American Thanksgiving, Christmas holiday, and celebration of the New Year. Kind of gets us through till the end of the year without getting totally depressed as the weather turns. So my number 5 tip for navigating social gatherings and while maintaining a plant-based diet is to not talk about being plant-based to anyone unless they are sincerely asking you. Some people, I don't know, they kind of make your healthy choices might make them feel inferior, and people may tend to want to pick a fight with you if you haven't already experienced that yet. So my practice is to just not talk about it. If it comes up, a good thing to say to people is, I'm experimenting, I'm seeing how it's going, I'm just giving this a try. And people tend to accept that, and then you can just all move on. Now you'll have a few of those people that'll approach you and they're truly interested, you can sense their sincerity, and definitely, you know, you'll find it easy to talk to them and tell them all the wonderful benefits of following a plant-based diet. Number 6, call a restaurant or venue ahead if this is a catered event. I have done this numerous times, including Disney World and locally, where I'll call to speak to the chef and tell them I have a limited diet or dietary restriction. It's not uncommon anymore for people to have allergies or food sensitivities, and these are really talented people that are cooking your food, so they're often like very enthusiastic to get creative and get away from the standard menu options and create you something really delicious. And if that's not possible, at least they can point you in the right direction. So that's my next tip. Number 7, and this is, you know, be thinking of different situations where there's food and people. Assess the situation, and whatever you do, don't show up hungry. So you might want to eat in advance before you go to this function, or at least pack food to have in your car just in case. I know a few of us have been known to, like, you know, chow down on the veggie lo mein in the backseat of the car. Whatever it takes, just make sure that you've planned ahead for the likelihood that there's nothing there that you're going to want to eat or that's compliant, and that you're prepared for that in your car, or you've eaten in advance. Always have food on hand, stuffed in your purse or pockets, whatever it takes, even if it's a baked potato. Number 8, remember why it is you're going to whatever it is you're going to. Usually when people are coming together, it's to celebrate something. You're celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, I mean even funerals. You're celebrating the life of someone you know or knew, and this can help steer your attention away from the food and back to why it is you're attending this social gathering. So just kind of reminding yourself why you're there can help you get through. Now my bonus tip is around, you know, there's really just no such thing as cheat days or everything in moderation. These are just cleverly worded excuses, really, for going off plan. So it happens. It happens to me, it happens to everybody. And it's just better in the long run for yourself and your self-care if you just call it what it is. I know this cheese is bad for me, but I'm gonna eat it anyway. And just saying those words may stop you dead in your tracks, or at the very least, you can get up the next morning and not hate yourself. It was a slip. I slipped and I'm back on with the next meal. Don't wait till Monday or New Year's days or next week or next month. Start the very next meal. And this behavior change can really empower you to not slip back on the hamster wheel and start that yo-yo dieting again. This is a lifestyle change. So how many times did you fall off your bike before you were able to ride? It's one of those things you just have to keep getting up and trying it again. It's progress over perfection. But now I want to arm you with a really good recipe for this time of year, a homemade caramel dip. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Basically, I am using medjool dates. They're my favorite, although I've been told there are many others that are really good out there. I like medjool, and I'm going to start off with about 7 of these. And what I did was put them in a pan, and I put just enough water in there and brought it to a boil and let it boil gently for about 10 minutes. And then you're going to want to reserve a 1/4 cup of the date water and set it aside, which I've done. And then you go ahead and drain your dates and just let them cool, because you need to remove the pit if they're not pitted. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Mine are cool enough. I'm going to switch the camera so you can see. Right down to the processor here. We are having a terrible day for lighting today, but basically I'm going to take 7 of these and just toss them in here. If you're using regular dates, sometimes these medjool dates have little stems. I'll show you when I find one. If you're using regular dates, you can use about 10 of those. So there's a heart. Oh, that's the pit. Dates are wonderful in smoothies, giving them a really natural sweetness. And if you don't have a food processor, a high-speed blender is really good for this recipe as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the reserved date water, 1/4 cup. I had just a little shy there, but we'll see how that goes. And I'm afraid I'm going to mess this up, but this is coconut milk, but like a full fat. They have light out there, but I went with a full fat for the party. 1/2 cup of that. And we're going to do 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. It's pretty sweet. Now we're going to process until it's smooth. I haven't done this in a food processor yet, so let's say a little prayer. Pardon the noise. All right. So what I'm going to do is continue to let that process, and then I'm going to return it to the pot that I boiled the dates in. I'm going to return it to the pot, and I'm going to heat it. Now I'm going to let this process longer, but you don't need to stick around for that. Some options you can do here, if it's too sugary and you want something delicious, you could add some almond butter, which I think I'm going to do to part of it, just to kind of have a variation for my family. And then I could add a sprinkle of cinnamon and a little pinch of sea salt. Never hurt anyone. So that's my dip. You'll see a picture on it on the recipe below, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to serve mine with pretzels and apples. You could top ice cream with it or your granola. I'm just so excited to have this and serve this the next time I have people over. I hope you enjoy. Bye.